I'm about to give you the only tutorial that you need to start effectively running Facebook ads in 2025. And your experience level doesn't matter. Whether you've never ran an ad before or you've been in the game for a while, I'm gonna walk you through every single step of running ads on Facebook profitably so every one of you is an expert by the end of this video. Now, if you already have your business manager set up, before we get into the ad strategies, I wanna make sure that you have your columns set up so that you can make sure that you're seeing the most important data while running ads. So let's go ahead and set those up real quick, and then we're gonna go ahead and get into the breakdown of what each data point means and why it's important to the success of your ad campaigns. All right, so to set up your columns, you're going to come over here to your ads manager, click on columns, scroll down and click on customize columns. Then come in here and delete everything besides ad set and delivery. So now let's go ahead and get this set up. We're first gonna go ahead and choose reach, then impressions, and then frequency. We're then gonna do video average play time and videos played at 95%. Now we're gonna go ahead and get into the ranking. We're gonna go ahead and choose quality ranking, engagement ranking, and conversion rate ranking. Now let's go ahead and get into the front end metrics. This is gonna be cost per click, click-through rate, link click, CPM or cost per 1,000 impressions, and then link clicks. Now that we're done with the front end metrics, let's go ahead and get into the back end. This is gonna be add to cart cost and then add to cart total. Once you select the total add to cart, you do wanna come over here and uncheck all these other boxes. Now go into checkouts initiated, cost, and total. Uncheck all the ones under that as well. Then we're gonna do purchases and click on total. Uncheck that off. Then amount spent, budget, then do cost per purchase, value of purchase, and total ROAS. Come back over here to the right side and uncheck everything off. Once all of that is set up, you do want to make sure that you save it. So come down over here and click on save as column preset, and then you can go ahead and name that anything that you want. Then go ahead and click on apply. Then once you're done, you should see all of your columns set up just like this. Okay, so now that you have your columns set up, I want to give you some insights of what each of these data points mean and how they're going to apply to you while running ads. And remember, I have all of this in this cheat sheet document, and I'm also going to add to this document 5 winning trending products that I validated myself. And you're gonna go ahead and get this when this video reaches 2,000 likes. At the end of the day, understanding your metrics is absolutely crucial. It's what allows you to allocate your budget effectively, investing more where the data shows potential for growth, and scaling back where performance isn't meeting expectations. So you're maximizing every dollar without wasting money. So let's take a look at each key metric. Starting off with reach, this is the number of people who saw your ad at least once. And next is impressions, which is the number of times that your ads were on screen. And frequency is the number of times that each person has seen your ad. So to calculate frequency, all you do is use impressions and you divide it by reach. So if you saw my ad twice, then the impressions would be 2, the reach would be 1, which would give us a frequency of 2. And with your frequency score, you want this to be around 1.1 to 1.4 max. Keeping that goal with your frequency is gonna let you know that you're getting the best bang for your buck with your ads. Basically meaning that the same person is not gonna be seeing your ads multiple times in a row, allowing you to target new people every time that your ad is seen. Following that, you have the video average play time, which is just the average time that someone's watching your ad. And if videos played at 95% is how many people are watching your ad 95% through. And knowing that metric is important because if you have an ad that majority of people are watching all the way through, you're more inclined to get even more purchases. And with the video average play time, with the ad that's typically around 30 seconds, you want this to be between 7 and 10 seconds. Next, we have cost per click all and cost per link click. And with cost per click all, this is basically them just clicking anywhere on your ad. This could be your description, this could be your comment section, this could be them just clicking to watch the video at all, which differentiates from cost per link click, which is the amount that it costs for you to get a link click. And a link click is them either clicking on your website URL or your call to action button. And with cost per click, you typically want to be between 50 cents and $1. With cost per link click, you want to be between $1 and $1.25. Next, you have click-through rate and click-through rate link click. Click-through rate is a very simple equation, just taking the amount of people who saw your ad divided by the amount of people who have actually clicked into watching your ad. So impressions divided by clicks all. While click-through rate link click is the number of people who saw your ad and performed a link click. Both of these, the higher the better. And I typically like to look for a 2.5 to 3% click-through rate or more. Next, you have CPM or cost per 1,000 impressions. This is based off of the average cost that a marketer would spend to get 1,000 impressions. A very simple equation, just amount spent divided by impressions. Depending on the product price, you do want this to be between $10 and $20. And think about it like this, if you have a low CPM, you're gonna get a high return on investment. A high CPM is going to be a low return on your investment. So the lower you can get, the better. Next, you have cost per add to cart and cost per checkout initiated, which is very simple. As a marketer, how much is it costing for you to get an add to cart and for a checkout initiated? Then you have cost per purchase, which is very similar. How much as a marketer is it costing for you to get a purchase? And out of all of the metrics, the most important one is always going to be ROAS, or return on ad spend. Think of ROAS very similar to your ROI. How much return are you getting on your initial investment? But here, it's just how much return are you getting on your ads. So simply, this is the total return on ad spend from your purchases. Now with this metric, the higher the ROAS, the better. Because the higher it is, the more profit that you're making. I can't stress enough how important these metrics are. because this is a data-driven game, meaning that you really don't have to guess too much to know what is working versus what is not. As with the data, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And you're always gonna be guided into the right direction to know how to fix your own problems or to double down on things that are already working for you. All right, now we're about to get into the juicy stuff, the exact Facebook ad strategies that have given life-changing results for so many of my students day in and day out. But I want you to know that they were not able to do it without an understanding of everything that I just taught you. And it's gonna take some time for you to be able to fully understand everything about running ads. But if you want professional, one-on-one guidance from myself and my team of e-commerce experts to help streamline this process, then make sure you go ahead and hit the first link in my description and apply for the limited spots available in my one-on-one mentorship program. So once you have your different videos and images back from Supreme Ecom ads, your first step to help you know that you're gonna enter in the market and immediately start driving profitable traffic is with a testing campaign called creative testing. A creative testing campaign lets you test out different types of ads against each other at a lower cost, helping you identify the best performing combination without having to spend hundreds of dollars just to figure out what works. And let me say, one of the biggest mistakes that beginners make is jumping into the market with whatever ads that they can find, even copying competitor ads without first understanding if they actually work. And remember, data is your ultimate guide to what's effective and what isn't. So my biggest advice, do not rush the process. Take the time to follow the steps I'm about to show you so you can avoid wasting time right out the gate and set yourself up for success. So to set up your creative testing campaign, you're gonna first come over here to your ads manager and click on create. Then go down to sales and then click on continue, and then manual sales campaign and then click continue again. We're gonna go ahead and name this a creative testing campaign. You do wanna scroll down and turn off this Advantage Plus catalog ads, and that's basically all you're gonna do on the campaign level. Now let's click right under the campaign level and go to the ad set level. And we're gonna name this first ad set video 1. For conversion location, do website. For performance goal, you always wanna do maximize number of conversions. Scroll down, select your data set /pixel, and then click on your conversion event, which we always wanna do purchase. Now as we scroll down, we wanna make the daily budget $20. Now are you gonna spend the full $20? No, you're not, but I got you in a second, just be patient. Come down to start date and we wanna do the following night at midnight. Then we wanna come down to locations and we wanna do the top 5 countries. United States, United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. So I'm gonna go ahead and input those real quick. Now that we have the countries inputted, we are done with the ad set level. Now let's click right under the ad set to go to the ad level. And we're gonna go ahead and name this the same as our ad set name. Scroll down, go ahead and select your Facebook page. For creative source, make sure it says manual upload. Format, single image or video. I turn off multi-advertisers ads. Then here where it says add creative, go ahead and click on video ad. This is gonna be the first screen that you see. Come straight over here to text, and then write out your primary text, your headline, and your description. Now, mind you, I am no copywriter, and I'm assuming majority of you guys watching right now are not copywriters either. But here, you should not be reinventing the wheel. You should be focused on what's working for others and allow it to work for you. To do that, I wanna head over here to Facebook ad library and currently see what's working on the market. This competitor here has multiple different ads being ran at the same time, as you can see, and each one of them are being scaled with multiple different ads in use. So that's telling me that they're spending a good amount of money advertising this product. And again, who's gonna be spending that type of money unless they are making money back in return? Knowing that this is the competitor I want to base myself off of, the next thing I need to do is just use my resources to my advantage. So I'm gonna copy their ad copy as well as their headline and their description. And then I took all of that text and inputted it right here on ChatGPT and said something like, this is my competitor's ad copy, headline, and description. Take 90% of what's working for them and sauce it up by 10% to allow me to stand out from my competitors. And now, in only a couple moments, without any copywriting experience, I have all the text that I need for my ad. From here, just go ahead and copy it, come back to your ad, and then put it in the primary text, the headline, and the description. And one thing I love about Facebook's AI is they give you so many different variations of things that you can work with. After inputting that ad copy, Facebook already generated me even more versions, and they did that for each section of text. Once all of that's inputted, you want to scroll down and click on call to action, and you always want to do shop now. After inputting all that text, you want to come down over here to media, click on upload, and then here's where you're going to upload your first video ad. Then once it's done, you should see it in this media library. Go ahead and click on next, next again. I do like turning on this add video filter, and then click on done. Now that we have the video uploaded, the next thing you're going to go ahead and do is input your thumbnail. So come back over here and click on edit media again. Edit video, click on thumbnail. Now there's two things you can do here. First is click on automatic and let it just choose the best thumbnail that's already found inside of your video, which I'm not against at all because Facebook's AI tool is extremely smart. Or you can come over here and click on manual, and as you can see, it's gonna clip up multiple different seconds of your video. So you can go in and manually choose what part of the video you want to be your thumbnail. But if you do have your own customized thumbnail and you don't want to use the ones in the video, all you're gonna do is come over here and click on manual, click on upload, upload again, and then here you can go ahead and choose your customized thumbnail. Once it's done uploading like this, you go ahead and click on continue and then save. And now that's gonna be the thumbnail, the first thing that people are gonna see before watching the ad itself. So now at this point, you have uploaded your video, your thumbnail, ad copy, headline, and primary description text. After that's finished, you wanna come down over here to the destination. Now in the website URL section, here you do not wanna input the homepage URL. You wanna input the product page URL so you're leading customers directly to the product page itself. And now you officially have your first ad done. But we're doing creative testing, which involves testing multiple different creatives against each other to figure out which one's gonna perform the best. And with your creative testing campaign, you do wanna mix and match this with all types of different content, from videos to carousels to still images, so you can figure out what truthfully works the best. And you should be testing out with 5 creatives minimum every single time that you test out a product. This is what's gonna give you the best chance of success. So to test out other creatives, we're gonna come back over here to the ad set level. We're gonna go to our first creative and then click on these 3 dots and then click on duplicate. And since we wanna do 5 minimum, we're gonna do number of copies being 4. Now let's head into our first duplicated ad. And this one, we're gonna go ahead and name it video 2. On the ad set level, we are not gonna change anything at all. We're gonna come straight over here to the ad level, also name it video 2, scroll down, click on edit media, change video, come down to media again. Now here, you wanna go ahead and upload your second video. Same way that we did it previously. Once it's uploaded, go ahead and click on next. And just like the ad set level, nothing on the ad level is gonna change besides the creative itself. And the reason behind this is because you want a solution with your data. And the solution you're looking for is which piece of content is going to work the best for you. But if you're testing out multiple different creatives with different types of ad copies and descriptions, and you're just mixing and matching everything, you're never gonna know what truthfully is working for you or not. So with creative testing, you only test out one variable at a time, which is always gonna be your creative itself. Now that we have video 2 uploaded, let's go to the next ad set. We're gonna name this video 3, again, not change anything at all, and then go ahead and upload our third ad. Now, just as important as running video ads and testing them out against each other is the same with picture ads and carousel too. You wanna be a well-versed marketer, and when you're testing out a product for the first time, you don't know what creatives are gonna resonate with your audience the best. So instead of changing this to video 4, I'm gonna go ahead and name this still image 1. And this is gonna be where I test out my first picture ad. So this time what we're gonna go ahead and do is delete this media, come over here and click on add media, add image, come down to media, upload, and then you're gonna go ahead and upload your first image. Not changing anything else, you officially have your first picture ad done. And the last step is to get your carousel set up. So come down to the last ad set variation. We're gonna go ahead and name this carousel, go to the ad level and name it the same. And at the section at the top where it says format, take off single image or video and go ahead and click on carousel. Here, you can upload different videos, different images, or you can mix and match both. I'm gonna click on add images, upload my images, and now each image or video that you add in your carousel, they will have their own specific headline and description. You can mix and match different headlines and descriptions here, or you can keep them all congruent, that's up to you. But you just wanna make sure you add it to every single media inside your carousel. So as you can see, this is the first carousel card. I have finished the headline and the description for that. Now I need to go ahead and click on the second one, and then follow the same format for that and the third one. I went ahead and added in the same headline and description across each one of the cards in the carousel. And then once you have all of that set up, it should look just like this, where you have multiple different videos, a still image, and a carousel set up in your creative testing campaign. Once all of that's finished, come down over here and click on publish. So since you've just published this campaign, now you have your creative testing campaign set up. And you remember how I told you a little bit ago that each one of these budgets are set at $20, but you're not gonna spend the full budget? Well, what you're really gonna do is let each one of these ads run to right around $5 to $10 each. And the reason I have it set at $20 isn't necessarily because I'm gonna go ahead and spend that, but because I wanted to spend quick to get me results quick. So once you spend around $5 to $10 across each ad set, you're gonna have the data that you need in order to know which ads are gonna perform the best for you on the market and which ones that you should just scratch completely. So when your creative test is finished running, the key metrics that you're gonna be looking for is your click-through rate to be 2.5% or more. You want your cost per 1,000 impressions to be between $10 and $20 or less. And you want your cost per link click to be $1.25 or less. Now with your cost per click, you want this to be between 50 cents and $1, and your average video watch time being between 6 and 8 seconds or more. This campaign, if you remember, is set up to start running at midnight the following night. So basically by the time that I wake up in the morning, I will already know which creatives are gonna do the best for me. Now let me go and pull up an old creative testing campaign of mine to give you a real life example of what you need to be looking for and how you're gonna decide which creative test is gonna be the winner and which ones you should not be moving forward with. And as you can see, I tested out 6 videos total. Now the main thing I'm looking for in this creative testing campaign again is always going to be purchases. And you're gonna notice that I got 3 purchases, 1 with video 4 and 2 with video 5. And once this campaign was launched, once all these ads spent right around $5 to $7 each, those were the only 2 that had any added carts at all. Which is why you're seeing videos 1 2, 3, and 6 already turned off very early on. At the $5 mark, if I don't see an ad set have an add to cart, I'm simply just going to cut it. And that's exactly what I did. And I ended up letting video 5 and video 4 run for the entire day. And mind you, I made that decision at like 10 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and already knew that 4 out of the 6 ads I was running were not gonna work for me. But I still had 2 left. So I continued to let this run for the rest of the day. Now, as mentioned earlier, video 5 had 2 purchases, bringing me close to 12 times back my return on my investment. Where you can see video 4 had 1 purchase, bringing me back 2.83 times my investment. Both are profitable and both a great sign. So what did I do? I ended up moving forward with both of them. Because if something's giving me purchases and is profitable, I'm always gonna give it a chance. But what I will say is once I did launch that next campaign, I was putting more budget towards video 5 because look at that return. And overall, I want you to really take what I'm about to say in consideration. If you look at this campaign, I spent $67 to make $300 back in return, meaning that I only spent $67 to figure out how I can compete in the market, and I was profitable while doing so. This is why content is king and data is queen. Because out the gate, if you get this data and you already know how to compete against your competitors with a strong piece of content, you will win every time. Because of how we set up this creative test, you can now take the winning creative and put it right into a cold audience campaign to start maximizing on what's working for you. And a cold audience campaign is where you're gonna be targeting your ads towards different interests. This is gonna be likely the first time that consumers are introduced to your brand or your product, which is why this is considered a cold audience. Now, while you're testing out different interests and audiences that are likely to buy your product, you're gonna start to see some of them react well to your ads and lead to more sales, while others just don't work out for you at all. And let me be the first one to tell you, it is very normal for not every audience to like your product. But that is okay because that's how data is gonna work to our advantage. And that's what's really gonna help you identify where to scale and where to pull back on spending, as the goal here is to build out an entire campaign packed with interests that are consistently bringing in sales. Just like this cold audience campaign that I made while selling this heated leg massager, where I spent a little over $1,400 testing out all these different interests to make close to $3,600 back in return, almost 2.43 times my investment, getting close to 42 sales in less than a month. Trust me, having a high quality, good product like this that solves a problem for people by eliminating leg tension and leg pain, this goes a long way. Because people are gonna feel like they need the product and not just want it. But listen to me when I say this, having an effective and profitable ad strategy to get the product in front of the right audience, this is what's really gonna lead you to success. So as you can see in this campaign, I tested out 20 different interests. Did every single interest work out for me? No, it did not. And that is okay. Out of those 20 different interests, I actually only had 11 out of the 20 that got a purchase. But by knowing how to push more towards things that are working, I was able to make a great return from this. And ultimately, I was able to find a lot of effective interests that I could scale and make even more money from. I mean, for example, look at martial arts, bringing me 16 purchases with getting me close to 2.7 times my return on my investment. And there's others in here that have a 15 return on investment, 6 return on investment, and so on and so forth. So if you keep watching, you're gonna have a complete guide to how you can set up one and have an easier time getting numbers like this and driving the profit that you deserve. So let's set up a cold audience campaign so you can start getting your own results. The first thing you're gonna do is go back to the creative testing campaign that you just set up. Next, you're gonna go into your winning ad that you have found from your creative testing results. You're gonna click on the box next to this, click on duplicate, and then click on new campaign. And we're gonna go ahead and name it cold audience interest testing campaign. And then click on duplicate. Now, because you duplicated it from the creative testing campaign, you should have a lot of what you need on the ad set level set up. So for conversion location, do not change this. Performance goal, do not change this. Data set and conversion event, keep that all the same. Now, before just going straight to the ad set level, there is one major change that we need to make here. And that change is turning this from an ABO into a CBO. An ABO is what you just did in the creative testing campaign, where you set the budget on the ad set level. Now, the CBO is where you're gonna take that budget and you're gonna put it on the campaign level and allow it to spread out across your best performing ad sets. And anytime I'm testing something out for the first time, like cold interests or audiences, I always use a CBO. So to get that set up, you wanna come over here, you wanna scroll down, and where it says Advantage Campaign Budget, go ahead and turn this on. And the starting budget that I recommend here is $100. Now, because we set it at $100, we're gonna go ahead and do 10 different interests. Now, if we would've set the budget at $50, we would do 5 interests, and so on and so forth. So the budget is now set. Now let's head over to the ad set level. Now, because we duplicated this off of the creative testing campaign, that is why you're seeing ad set name being called Video 1, because that was our winning creative. But we're gonna go ahead and delete that name as the first thing. Now with conversion location, we're gonna keep this as website, performance goal, maximize number of conversions. Now with data set, keep the same pixel and the same conversion event of purchase. Now you wanna scroll down and turn the start date to the next day and have it start running at midnight the following night. Now right under that, you're gonna see ad set spending limits. And we wanna go ahead and turn this on and put daily minimum of $5. What this is basically saying is you now have a CBO at $100. You're gonna be doing 10 different ad sets with 10 different interests, and you set the minimum spend at $5. So those 10 different ad sets, they're gonna spend $5 minimum, which is gonna come out to $50. But remember, your campaign is at $100. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna take that other $50 and spread it across the best performing ad sets possible. So you might have some spending $10, $8, $15, but no matter what, they're gonna spend $5. So at least they get a fair spend. Now we're gonna come down to audience. Our countries are still gonna be the top 5 countries. We're gonna do age 21 through 65, all genders. Now in this section, this is where you're gonna start targeting specific audiences of people who would most likely buy your product. Now what Facebook does is it categorizes people into different groups based off of the actions that they're taking on the platform. So for example, if you're engaging with a bunch of different ads from PetSmart, Petco, and all types of different pet toys, they're gonna put you in a categorized demographic of probably being a pet lover. This is what ultimately makes it easier for marketers like me and you to target specific people on their platform and know exactly what interests they like. So let's stick with this leg massager example. Who would buy this product? Well, just off the top of my head, the first thing I'm thinking about is athletes and physical therapy. But let's say that you just cannot think of any at all. Like I always say, use your resources to your advantage. Come back over here to ChatGPT and say, I'm selling this type of product and I'm thinking of demographics, audiences, and interests that I can target with my Facebook ads. What are some suggestions that you have? Here it's giving me fitness and recovery enthusiasts, health and wellness advocates, senior care buyers, and so much more. So let's stick with health and wellness as an example. I typed in health and wellness, and just like that, there's an interest that I can target. And as you can see on this right-hand side, it's gonna give you an estimated audience size of 88 million to 104 million. Now with the interest that you're targeting, you always want each audience size to be 5 million or greater. And really the sweet spot is kind of bigger audiences of 25 to 50 million or more. So this fits that perfect size, so let's go ahead and move forward with it. Now that we selected this interest, we're gonna go ahead and copy this. We're gonna scroll back up to the top of our asset name and click on paste. And now we officially have our first interest that we want to target. After inputting the interest name, you want to scroll down and click on all languages and click on edit. And for languages, we want to do English all because we want the people who see our ads to actually be able to read them too. And then for placements, go ahead and keep it on Advantage Plus placements. And there's nothing that you need to do on the ad level because again, you already just tested out everything that you need on the ad inside of the creative testing campaign. And you officially have your first ad set done inside of your cold audience campaign. But remember, like I said earlier, we have a $100 CBO, so we're gonna be testing out 10 different interests. Well, that means we need to go ahead and duplicate this 9 more times so that we can get a total of 10 interests. So we're gonna come over here, we're gonna click on these 3 dots, click on duplicate, do number of copies, 9, and then click duplicate again. Now the main thing that you wanna do here is ensure that only 1 interest is inside each ad set. As if you do stack multiple on top of each other and it gets a purchase, you won't know what's working and what's not. So here's our second ad set. Let's scroll back down and there's 2 options here. And now you're in a position where you can do 2 things. You can think from the top of your head what other audiences would buy this product, or use ChatGPT and use the resources it provided. Or you can come down over here and click on browse, go to interest, click on the category that makes the most sense with your product. For this example, it'll be fitness and wellness. Now that I've chosen that, I'm gonna go ahead and exit health and wellness. Look at the audience size for physical exercise, which is 97 million to 114 million. So that meets our standards. So we're gonna go ahead and copy this, come back over here to the top of the ad set and paste it. Now we're gonna go down to the third ad set. For this one, I chose physical fitness. So I'm gonna take out health and wellness again, check the audience size, which we're good. We're gonna go ahead and copy this and paste it. And we're gonna follow the same format throughout every single one of our ad sets. And just like that, we have now finished our 10 interests. So I want you to look at this campaign where we have a $100 CBO across 10 different interests, all going towards that one winning video. So if you just followed along with me, you're now set up and your ads are gonna be up and running the next day. And being able to identify how well your ads are performing right from the beginning, this is gonna give you the understanding of how the overall campaign will perform. So to get a better read on that data and ensuring that you're making the right data-driven decision, this is a KPI sheet that I give out to all my students. It's made to help give you indicators when it comes to whether or not a product is profitable and when you're deciding on how much you're willing to spend to get that next purchase. So let's take the leg massager as an example. I was selling this product after shipping for $49.99. So that's what I inputted in my average order value. My average cost of goods after shipping was $17. So that's what I put in my average cost of goods section. And for this product, I wanted a profit target of 25%. After inputting that data here on the left, On the right hand side, it's gonna give me all the breakdowns of what I need to be the most profitable with my product. The first thing it's gonna go ahead and do is give you front end metrics to analyze. This is gonna be what we talked about earlier, which is gonna be cost per 1,000 impressions, cost per link click, cost per click, etc. Then as you scroll over a little bit more, it's gonna give you the most important metrics that you need to know, telling you right away what is going to be your break-even cost per purchase. Now, this is extremely important because you never want to overspend on a product unless you're making money back in return. So understanding your break-even is critical for business success. As you can see, it's telling me my break-even cost per purchase is $32.49. That means with that cold audience campaign that we just set up, with each one of these ad sets, if I spend over $32 and I do not get a purchase, I am not profitable with the product, letting me know very clearly what my cutoff metric is. And it's also telling me what my break-even return on ad spend is, which is 1.54. So that's saying anything below that, I'm not making any money from. Anything above that, I'm definitely profiting. And as you can see, this entire campaign had a 2.43 return on ad spend. The break-even was a 1.54. So I was definitely making money from this. And there's multiple assets in here that are giving me 7 to 10 times my investment back, which is absolutely crazy. Now, the next important metric that you want to be looking at is your half break-even cost per purchase. For this example, it is $16.25. And I use this metric to cut things off early and not let things overspend if it's not necessary to do so. So at that half break-even cost per purchase, what the main thing is I want to see is at least one add to cart. If I have an asset that's at the half break-even cost per purchase and it doesn't have an add to cart, I will turn it off. I will not even let it ride all the way to my break-even cost per purchase because it's probably not worth my money. And if you remember, we're running a CBO. So if I cut things off early, what it's gonna do is spend more budget into what things are actually working for me. Then as you scroll a little bit more over to the right, it's gonna tell you what to do after your first purchase. So what is your second break even, third break even, fourth break even, and so on and so forth. So after you make your first purchase, you're not gonna just let it ride because you made one. You're gonna continue to keep looking at it to make sure that you're staying profitable all throughout the rest of the purchases that you're gonna be getting. And the last thing on the right-hand side is your profit target KPIs. Now, if you remember earlier, I said on this product, I wanna make a 25% profit margin. So to get to that profit margin, it's telling me that I need to have my return on ad spend being 2.50, and I need to have my cost per purchase being $20. And if we come back over here to the campaign, you can easily see which ones are bringing me that 25% profit margin and more, and how this overall campaign has basically met this metric. You can see basically here, I was able to accomplish 24% profit margin on this product. Knowing these metrics is key to success, as knowing and having this type of information, it stops you from doing any type of emotional spending, which can easily happen. Hell, it's even happened to me before, but utilizing this can help prevent that and only drive even more profit into your pockets. Because I'm gonna be real with you, before I learned this actual strategy on how to run ads, I didn't know when to move on from a product that wasn't producing results, which overall really impacted my business and me because I kept over investing my time and money all into things that were not working for me. And sometimes you don't even realize that you're doing it, but the data is never going to lie. And these KPIs are there to protect you and ensure that you're staying profitable or just to stop spending overall. Now, when you have a campaign that's giving you the data that you need and is bringing you in sales on interest with a positive ROAS, around the 4th day, you're gonna be able to horizontally and vertically scale it. And once you have an asset that has an interest that's bringing in results like these, for example, martial arts, you can see it has 16 purchases. It spends $600 to make $1,600 in return, bringing me back 2.74 ROAS. And I wanted to scale because of that, because obviously it's profitable. I mean, it had real validation behind it. It had 16 purchases and it was overly profitable. Now, the baseline for me to scale any type of ad set is always going to be 5 purchases or more. So this one was clearly blowing that out the park. So when you see something like this, it is time to start investing more into it so you can start making more in return. What do they say? You gotta spend money to make money, right? Let's talk a little bit more about one of the first ways you can scale, which is horizontal scaling, and what I did with this interest. Horizontal scaling allows you to take the winning ad set and stretch it out more to get even more results. And there's 3 ways that you can do horizontal scaling. The first one is by finding additional interest similar to the one that's already working. This ultimately just helps you discover new profitable audiences to expand your reach and increase sales, and do it based off of something that's already working. The second way is making more duplicates of the winning interest that is already working, keeping the same budget, and just continue to keep pushing towards that. And the third way is by utilizing your data breakdowns. And with data breakdowns, what you're able to do is break down by age and gender, country, mobile device, city, and so much more to find what is actually working in the data and bringing you in the highest return possible. And then taking that winning interest and targeting that specifically. On the other hand, vertical scaling is all about doubling down on what's already performing. When you've identified an interest generating consistent sales with a positive ROAS, You then increase your budget for that interest to then amplify your results and maximize your profitability. All right, enough of the breakdown. Let me go ahead and show you exactly what I mean. So taking that same winning interest we talked about earlier with martial arts, as you see, it was performing well. So what I did was duplicate that asset and find more audiences that were similar to that. So I came right back over here to ChatGPT and I said my winning interest right now for this campaign is martial arts. I want suggestions of similar audiences to test based off of what's already working. And look at all the different results it gave. A breakdown of multiple different combat sports and martial arts, general fitness and training, and sports recovery and performance, where each section is giving me like 10 different interests to target. So once I duplicated off of martial arts, those were the interests I was targeting, which as you can see, it gave me physical exercise, sports equipment, World Boxing Council, Taekwondo, combat sport, kickboxing, and so many more similar interests that, as you can see with the ROAS, were all doing really well for me. Now in this campaign, I also had other interests that were doing well too. For example, flower bouquet. Now for this one, I didn't horizontally scale by finding more additional interest. I just continue to keep duplicating it at the same budget. So as I already told you, I'm doing a CBO campaign where I have a $5 minimum spend across each ad set. So after this interest ended up doing well for me, I just duplicated it 10 times inside the same CBO, giving it the exact same budget. So I duplicated this 10 times within the same campaign, and there were multiple that worked. The 10th duplicate gave me 8 purchases, bringing me 3.37 back in return ROAS. The second duplicate gave me 10 purchases. The fourth duplicate gave me 3 purchases, and I was just letting the CBO do the work for me. And the third method that I horizontally scale with is called the breakdown method. As you see, it had 19 purchases, it had 638 spend to bring 1,300 back in return. So anytime that I have an asset that has over 10 purchases and is profitable, I do a breakdown. How you do that is you come over here and click on breakdown, and then you can go to demographics and do age and gender. You can do geography and do country and region. You can do delivery with placement, platform, and impression device, and so much more. And from this ad set, after I broke it down, I noticed that the device iPhone was working well, the city Victoria and Queensland were doing great, and 65 plus male were actually performing the best. So I duplicated off of commuting, and then I just specifically gave that breakdown the only thing that I was targeting. As you see, if I click on the device iPhone and I scroll down to placements, you're not seeing advantage placements like you typically would see. What you're seeing is manual placements, and for this asset, the only device I wanted to target is iOS iPhones, which I set up right here. Doing the same for all the other ad sets. So you guys already know I target the top 5 countries. So because this breakdown was specifically just for Victoria, Australia, that was the only location that I was targeting, which as you can see was giving me some really great purchases. So basically the entire point of horizontal scaling is utilizing your data and allowing it to continue to keep working for you. Finding more similarities with the data with other similar interests, or just doubling down on that specific asset and finding more things within it that can also work. And the only main purpose here is to be able to find even more winning ad sets that you can continue to keep vertical scaling. And I do want to make it clear that the same guidelines that we discussed earlier will apply to these ad sets that you're horizontally scaling. If they're not generating any profits, you'll need to know when it's time to cut them and redirect your budget to what's actually performing. Now, like I said a lot of the time, if you're ready to start horizontally scaling, you're also ready to start doing some vertical scaling and bringing in even more and more money. Let me go ahead and show you a live example of how that looks. So again, martial arts was going crazy for us, right? And that was working really well in a CBO cold interest testing campaign. So what I wanted to do from here is I wanted to duplicate this into a brand new campaign utilizing an ABO, where I'm putting the budget back on the asset level. And the main focus here was to just push even more budget towards what's already working. So as you can see, I duplicated it 5 times at $20. So there's martial arts vertical scale 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They all have the same budget of $20, which is a higher budget than what we were allocating inside the CBO. And it was working really well for me. This ad set gave me 4 purchases with a 4.12 return on ad spend. Vertical scale 3 was doing well with 2 purchases. I got 1 on this one, 2 on this one, and 5 on this one. So right away, I was like, hey, the $20 budget is doing well. I'm gonna continue to keep vertical scaling and pushing what's working. So I took the best ad set within that budget that had the highest return on ad spend, and then I duplicated off of that at a higher budget, which was the martial arts vertical scale 2 that had the highest return on ad spend. So then I duplicated it 5 more times at $30. And by doing this and letting the $20 budget ones that were working continuously keep working, I was then just getting rid of all the $30 ones that weren't, which ended up only leaving me with 2 out of the 5 $30 ones that were working, that were both bringing me 3 times my investment back in return. So what I do from here, I followed the same pattern. I took the $30 ad set that had the highest ROAS and I duplicated it 5 times ads at $40, which you can see it did really well. I had this one $40 ad set that spent $99 to bring me $373 back in return. So by doing this and using my KPI calculator, I was able to continue to keep pushing for more profitability and cutting things that were not working for me early on, which led this campaign to spending $569 to bring $1,868 back in return, giving me an average of a 3.28 return on ad spend, which is almost 3 times my investment back. And then from here, you're just gonna continue to keep duplicating at higher budgets like 50, 100, 500, and even 1,000 and so on and so forth to keep building up more and more data and becoming more and more profitable. But remember, you need to be profitable with most of your assets before you start to increase the budget on your campaigns, as you don't want to be spending money solely on potential. Like I said before, you only want to make decisions based off of actual data. Men lie, women lie, but numbers never do. So you need to make sure to keep track of the KPIs, along with how much you're spending so that you can stay as profitable as possible. You should always be earning money at a higher rate than what you're spending. Now, as you earn more money and you get more data, as long as you're still making profit, you should be able to get into some lookalike audiences. And what a lookalike audience is gonna allow you to do is to reach even more people who, based off of Facebook's AI system's data, act like the customer who's already buying from you. So the main thing we've been focused on right now, with especially doing horizontal and vertical scaling, is trying to gain as much data as possible so that the pixel is getting smarter and smarter to understand who our ideal customer is. So now that you're at this point where you've built enough data, things are really gonna pick up for you because you know exactly who your potential buyer is, and you're no longer guessing who to market to. So to make lookalike audiences, you need to verify a couple things first. There's front-end lookalike audiences and back-end lookalike audiences based off of the same data that we talked about earlier. The first lookalike audience that you should be making is a 95% video view lookalike. And you cannot create this unless you have minimum 5,000 video views. And the minimum conversions that you can have to create a back-end lookalike audience, for example, add to cart, checkout initiated, or purchase, is going to be a minimum of 100 conversions, which at this point, if you've been scaling your ads the way that I show you, there's gonna be no problem for you to get these minimums. Let me go ahead and show you how I set up the first lookalike. And the first lookalike is gonna be based off of video views. So what I like doing is I like stacking up the 95% video viewers and the 75% video viewers on top of each other to create a really big audience of people who are most inclined to watch my video the entire way through, which is gonna lead them to also purchasing my product. Let me go ahead and show you how to set this up. So once you're back here on your ads manager, the main campaign screen, you're gonna scroll your mouse over here to the left-hand side and click on audiences. Next, we're gonna go ahead and click on create audience and then custom audience. And what your custom audience is the audience of people who actually did take that action. So because we're gonna set up a 95 to 75% video view, it's gonna take a pool of all the people who've actually taken that action on your video, and they're gonna pool them together. And then once you bring those pool of people together in this custom audience, then you'll make lookalikes off of it. So once you're on the screen, you're gonna come down to video, click on next, choose an engagement type, click on 95%, then click on select video, and you wanna make sure this number right here is over 5,000. So once you've selected it, go ahead and click on confirm. Now you're gonna come back to the drop down bar and click on 75% of your video. You're gonna come back over here, click on select videos again. You're gonna come back to that exact same video and go ahead and click on the check mark again and then click on confirm. So now with audience retention, you wanna go ahead and drop this down to 180 days. And then for audience name, you're gonna go ahead and do 95%/75% video view, and then click on create audience. And just like that, your custom audience was created. Now that the custom audience is created, we need to go ahead and create the lookalikes. So come back over here to the custom audience that you created, check mark it, hit these 3 dots, and click on create lookalike. For regions, you're gonna go ahead and type in United States. You're gonna hit this drop down bar, hit 6, and now it's gonna create you 6 different custom audiences, where it says the 1% lookalike consists of the people who are most similar to your lookalike audience source. But it does not mean that the other ones cannot perform as well. But I want you to understand that that does not mean that the 1% audience is just gonna perform the best. You wanna make 10 audiences total. So right now we have 6 audiences created. So go ahead and click on create audience. Come back over here, go back to your custom audience again, click the 3 dots again, create lookalike, drag it to the 6 and 7%, and then go ahead and click on 4. Type in the same audience location, and then go ahead and click on create audience. And now you can see I have all audiences from 1% to 10% all created. And the lookalike campaign that we're gonna create to test out all 10 of these lookalikes is gonna be the exact same way that we test out all 10 cold interests, as these aren't necessarily cold interests, but we don't know if they're gonna work yet or not. So you just go back, create a brand new campaign of $100 CBO with a $5 minimum spend. And instead of doing 10 different interests, you will do 10 different lookalikes. The first thing you're gonna go and do is not target any locations at all. As you see, the locations right here is completely empty. As you see on the right-hand side, it says use a custom audience to continue or add a location for your audience. And you have to understand that the custom audience and lookalike is extremely smart, and it already has enough data to know who the ideal customer is. so it knows exactly where to go find them too. So now that we took off the location, you want to come over here to custom audiences and then go ahead and select your first lookalike, which is going to be this one right here. Then I'm going to take that name, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to go ahead and paste it, and then we're just going to run ads to that same audience like we've already been doing before, all towards that winning video creative. Then you'll hit the 3 dots, you'll click duplicate, you'll do 9 copies, click duplicate again, you'll come into the second ad set, delete that first lookalike, and then go into the 2 to 3%. Copy, rename that ad set, and follow that same pattern for all 10 lookalikes. And that lookalike campaign is gonna have the same rules to it that every other campaign that we set up in this video has. You wanna be cutting the ad sets that are losing you money and scaling the ones that are making you money. It's an endless cycle of rinsing and repeating your way into finding new audiences that are putting even more money into your pockets. Now, look, I know that we just covered a lot, and it's okay if you just focus on what we just went over. You can go ahead and take the time to really learn and implement the steps that we talked about before coming back to this video. But with that being said, we are not done yet. Because for those of you who are really looking to get strategies to take it another step forward, we're about to get into something that I consider the biggest moneymaker, retargeting. Now, a lot of the time, your lookalike campaigns and your retargeting are gonna happen at the exact same time. But retargeting is where things really start to pick up for you. This is because you're gonna be using all the data that you've been getting from that very first campaign that we made all the way to now. With retargeting, your main focus is to bring back all of your missed sales by putting more ads in front of those audiences again, but this time with an incentive. So with that being said, when it comes to retargeting, there's 2 main ways that you're gonna do this, and that's with warm and hot retargeting. Warm retargeting is for those customers that took any action that wasn't on your store. This means that they could have watched your video or went to your Facebook or Instagram page, but they never actually clicked the shop now button. And this is a direct reflection of the custom audiences that you're gonna make so that you can do warm retargeting. And that's gonna be Facebook engagement, Instagram engagement, 95% video view, and 75% video view, all within the last 7 to 10 days. So you remember how we did that drop down when we created that custom audience earlier and we changed it from 365 to 180? Well, with retargeting, we would change that time frame to be between 7 and 10 days because you gotta get these customers while their mindset is still fresh and they remember your product and engage with it previously. You don't wanna be going after people from 4 months ago who don't even remember who you are at all. Now, hot retargeting, this is gonna focus on customers who did take an action on your store, but ultimately did not purchase. So those custom audiences that you're gonna make are people who visited your website, who added the product to cart, who initiated checkout, but did not do that final action that we're looking for, which is purchasing. In the same way we do 7 to 10 days for that time frame of retargeting with warm retargeting, it's gonna be the same for hot. Here's a warm retargeting campaign that I ran, for example. And inside of it, you can see how it's stacking up 75% video view, 95% video view, and Facebook engagement all on top of each other. And I was excluding one main audience, which was people who have purchased within the last 30 days. Basically going after any of these people who match these audiences, but did not purchase in that time frame. Now, mind you, inside of your retargeting campaigns, these are not lookalike audiences. This is gonna be utilizing the custom audiences, which is the real people who took that real action, not similar people like them. And it's important to know that in your retargeting campaigns, you want to be giving out special deals to help incentivize people to come back and purchase your product. So for example, in your warm retargeting campaign, you could give free shipping worldwide and give people an additional 10% discount in your ads that you're pushing to them, which is exactly what I did inside this campaign. As you see in the ad level, I reiterated my ad copy, but at the end of it, I said use code 10 off for an additional 10% off. As you scroll down to the description, you see it also says use code 10 off for an additional 10% off. Now in hot retargeting, that specific discount, it does go up a little bit extra, like 15 or 20%. And maybe you even give them a free gift, like a free ebook or a free tangible gift that goes with the main item on top of that discount. Doing it like this because the closer a customer is to purchasing your product, the more you want to bring them back. So inside my hot retargeting campaign, this is what it looked like set up. I had people who added to cart within the last 10 days, people who initiated checkout in the last 10 days, and people who visited my website in the last 10 days, all excluding people who have purchased in the last 30 days. Now with hot retargeting ads, I like utilizing different testimonials and reviews of people who've enjoyed utilizing my product. So for example, I added in this little review, and then I said use code 15 off for 15% off, highlighting that in my headline too. Which you can see I had multiple different ads following that format. And while you're retargeting, this is the perfect place to test out new ad formats. It's like another creative testing, but this way you get to do it towards people who didn't purchase but did see one of your other ads before. And think about it, if they didn't buy it before and this ad that you're testing out in a retargeting campaign gets them to buy, then you probably know that that's a better ad. And then you can go take that ad and then input it in your horizontal, vertical, and cold audience campaigns. Now, to really make sure that you're not leaving any stone unturned when it comes to bringing in missed sales back to your store to make that purchase, I highly suggest that you automate the retargeting process by also setting up email and SMS marketing with a platform like OmniSend. OmniSend is a tool that easily connects to your Shopify store, and it immediately helps you identify any customers who abandoned cart or checked out right from the moment that it's integrated. Now, this platform is completely free to use for your first 250 contacts, but I got you covered for when you're ready to scale beyond that. You can check out the link in my description and use the code AC30 to get 30% off your first 3 months. And make sure you check that out, because I'm telling you, with these strategies that you just learned, you'll be passing that 250 contact mark in no time. All right, so once you have your account open and connected to your Shopify store, you'll see that they already have pre-built flows for you to work with to set up an automated flow for an abandonment cart. All you have to do is come over here to automation, click on create workflow, and we're gonna go ahead and do, for this example, abandonment cart. So click on customize workflow. So what it's saying is that the customers enter the workflow when they add an item to cart. Customers exit the workflow when they place an order or they start their checkout. And this is gonna be triggered 1 hour after the customer abandons checkout. And then it sends this first email here. Items in your cart are selling out fast. And you can customize this any way that you want. You can come in and add emojis, or you can delete the whole thing and write whatever you want yourself. Now, they do have some great templates, so definitely do not try to reinvent the wheel too much. Then it goes into your pre-header where it says there are items in your cart that can sell out fast, get them before they're gone. And then this is what the email is actually gonna look like. And if you wanna edit this, go ahead and click on edit content. Here you can change up the logo and what's in the body of your actual email. But like I said, it has a really good template that you should just follow. Now, after this first email, if this person still does not add the product to the cart, they're gonna go ahead and get a second email at 11 hours, saying something like, we're still keeping your items right where you left them. Do you know what would really cheer you up? Knowing that the items that you desperately want will make it to your doorstep soon. And again, you can customize this any way that you want as well. But one thing I love adding to the sequence is ensuring that this customer is getting hit with text and emails. So after that email is sent, then 12 hours after, I like adding in an SMS text. So I can go ahead and grab this and drag it right in here. I can add in my message text, like 10% off your order today, add in a unique discount code, put the percentage at 10%, and let it expire after 1 day. And one of the best things is you don't have to go to Shopify and then go add a coupon code, because OmniSend is gonna have that automatically happen. That if you open up the email or text and you click on the button to go ahead and check out, it's gonna apply that discount right away without you having to do any extra work. And yes, on my last text and my last email, I do love giving a discount similar to how I like doing my retargeting campaigns, where now I'm gonna go ahead and add one more delay after this text message, where it's gonna wait for 30 minutes. And then it's gonna send one last email telling them that they will get 15% off the entire cart if they check out right then and there. Where you see inside the email, it already says, here's a special 15% discount to help you make up your mind. And then once I click on the actual discount, it says cart discount, percent, 15%. I'm gonna come down to expiry, make it expire in 1 day, and then click on finish editing. And just like that, I now have my email and SMS abandonment cart campaign set up. And now you have everything that you need to successfully run ads on Facebook, launch, optimize, and scale your campaigns, create retargeting strategies, and even have an email marketing strategy to make sure that you're doing everything that you can to not miss out on a single sale. And now from here on out, it's all about your ability to continue to keep duplicating these processes within your campaigns and create new ones that are optimized to make sales every single time. It's gonna take practice to get to the level where you understand Facebook's algorithm, you're comfortable and familiar with the data that you need, and you know what kind of ad that can sell to different audiences and interests. But once you get all of that down, you're gonna notice that you keep constantly improving. Your revenue is gonna go crazy, and your store is gonna grow like never before. And at this point, you now have the exact systems and strategies that have helped so many of my students completely change their lives. So now, it's up to you to rewatch this video to familiarize yourself with this knowledge and implement the strategies that I just showed you. And if you want access to a community of like-minded, ambitious people like you who constantly support and motivate each other so that you can see real people are building their stores and growing alongside you, I'm leaving a link down in my description to give you access to my free Success Discord group. And I want you to join this group and let me know that you're coming from this video so I can see how you grow and succeed in the e-commerce market. And if you're ready to get the winning products that you can start selling right now, then make sure to check out the top 10 winning products that you should be advertising with your ads today. You will not want to miss out on that and all the winning products that can give you the potential to generate life-changing money. It's time to get to work. This is AC with Supreme Ecom, and I'm out.